Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Can somebody respond to me whether you can hear me or not?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Wait, Okay, so today we continue with chapter 2. Okay. So chapter 2 will discuss about variables. So I hope all of you already installed Matlab or Octave. Okay. So because we will start using Matlab or Octave, it is better for you to test while watching the video. Okay. So make sure you start your Matlab right now. So our objective today is to understand what is syntax, variable operation of programming language, and able to create an array, and able to access array, understand the different data type, and understand the constant variable. Okay. So no need to worry. Okay, you will understand this one later, what is array and everything. So I will start with the introduction. Okay. So what is syntax? Syntax is particular layout of word or symbol describing variable or operation. It's basically like a name of a data. Okay. So variable is inside the syntax itself, the stored value, which can be retrieved referring to the associate name. Okay. Sorry, syntax is if not mistaken. Okay, maybe later I will explain later. Okay, an operation is an action taken to the variable to either create a new variable or new operation. Okay, no need to worry. You will look at this later. So syntax is basically grammar, variables, noun, okay, and so on. Okay, so you have variable here. Okay, in variable you have a properties. Okay, in the variable properties you have data type. Okay, you have multiple types. Okay, the size and the value of the variable. Okay, and then the operation. Okay, if not mistaken, operation is chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3. So you will learn about statement, function, command. You will learn about this later. Okay, but for chapter 2, you will focus on this part only. Okay, we start with variable. Okay, a variable is created by simply assign a value to a command line or program. Okay, so you can start the Matlab. Okay, so Matlab is quite heavy program, so you need time to start it. So that's why I ask you to open it first because it's quite heavy. Okay, before I continue, I just want to show you the layout. Okay. So this is the layout of the Matlab. Okay. So some of you will get a different layout because you have to choose actually. So this is the layout. Go to home and go to layout. You can, okay, you can select what layout you would like to have. Okay. So you have a current folder here. Okay, the details, the workspace, and common window. Okay, first for safety, okay, I suggest you can see here you have address, right? But some of you are opening the program file, C program file. So make sure you don't run this in the C program file. So if you do have in the C program file, make sure you this one. Okay, press this. Okay, so select anywhere else. Okay, for me, I just select desktop. Okay, so make sure you change the address first. Okay, any problem changing this? Okay, make sure you change the location. Okay, so this is current folder, so no need to worry about this too much. Okay, and the important one is the common window. For this class, the common window, you will do programming at the common window. Okay. So another important location is the workspace. Okay, any variable, okay, any variable here, it will be saved here. Okay, I will show you. Okay, So you can see here the common window and the workspace. Okay, now I just want to create a variable A. Okay, and A has the value of 5, for example. So you can see here it will create a variable in the workspace, and inside here it is 5. Okay, this is called Scala. Okay, means that it has data size of 1 multiplied by 1. Okay, the size can be vary, okay, depending on the code. Okay, but for this one, okay, you can see here this is just a 1 value. A is equal to 1. Okay, how about this one, the second one? You can see here. Okay, if you want to start a new code or anything else, you can select CLEAR, clear. Okay, you will clear the workspace. Okay, the workspace is now gone. And CLC to clear the common window. Okay. So how about the second one? You can see here, A plus 1, A is equals to 1 plus B. Okay. You can see here, it doesn't recognize B because you can see in the workspace, there is no B. Unless you define B is, for example, is 5. Okay. So A is equals to 1 plus B. So B is taken from the workspace and you will get the answer. Okay. So that is how you create a variable in the workspace. So this is the first thing you will learn about scientific programming. So of course, CLEAR and CLC. Clear it all. So we'll move on to the next part. Okay, when it comes to variable, you have properties. Okay, the variable has properties. Usually, you can see here, variable can be a floating number. Floating number means that you have a point. Okay, 1.5 e negative something. Okay, something like that. Integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, complex number, the one that has I, okay, 1 plus 3i, okay, that is the numerical type. Or you can have a characteristic array, okay. Characteristic means the data is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, not a number. Or another type of data is logical, 1 or 0. So this one I think common, most of you I think know about this. Okay, structure and cell array, no need to worry. This one is out of our syllabus. Next is the value. The value is basically the inside value here. So remember, like I said, A is equal to 5. So A is the variable, 5 is the value. You can see here, the name, the value. Okay. So value can be, like I said before, number, character, or string. This one is ABC, special number, test metric. Okay. So it's either can be constant or variable. Okay. Okay, this one is also important. This term. Okay. Array, vector, metric. Okay. Array, scala, vector, array. Okay. So metric and array is almost the same. Okay. So scala is basically 1 multiplied by 1. Okay. So what is this means that this one, this is a scala because it is 1 multiplied by 1. Okay, you can see here 1 multiplied by 1 double. So 1 multiplied by 1 is the size. So 1 multiplied by 1 is the scala. So vector is long data. Okay, so either is horizontal or vertical. Okay, so I give you an example here. A is equals to 1 to 5. Okay, so you can see here, this is a vector. Okay, it is horizontal vector. And okay, so this one is the vertical vector. So that is the term for the this type of data. Okay, so if you have array data, means that you have multiple line or multiple column. It is called an array. Okay. So okay, this one I think I already show you common prompt, common window and workspace. Okay. So I remind again, make sure that this one is not run in the bin. Okay. C program file. You cannot. It's better for you to run outside this. Okay, because your program can damage if you run inside this. So make sure you change it. I already showed you before. Okay, now I start with the first command or syntax, whos. Okay. Okay. So what is whos? Whos is basically to see the properties of the variable. Okay. So I give you example here. Okay. CLC. So you can see here A is 1 multiplied by 5, right? This one. Okay. So I just want to know what is the properties of A. So WHOS A. Okay. So after you run this, you can see that it will show the properties. The name of A is A. Okay. The size is 1 multiplied by 5. You have 1 row and 5 column. Okay. Always start with row and then column. Okay. This is the size of the data. Okay. This is the class. Okay. Double is the type of data. Okay. This one is much more towards digital. That double is much more accurate actually. Okay. So something like this. This is how to view the properties of a variable. Okay, so make sure you know how to call this. Okay, array referring to the, okay. So this one I think no need to worry. Array I already explained before. Array is basically, okay, this one is much more easy to see. So you can see here, Scala is only one data. Vector is a single row or single column. Okay, metric is something like this. Okay, this one is also called array. No need. Array is just very vast. Okay, and this one is a multi-dimensional array. Means that you have X, Y, and then Z. So we will not cover this part. Okay, so in this course we will not cover multi-dimensional array. Okay, now how to create and access array. Okay, when you create data, you have to learn two things today. So how to create a data and how to access the data. Okay, so this is how you create the data. There are two ways to create a data, either using square bracket or semicolon. Okay, so two ways. Square bracket, this is the square bracket. Okay, this is a square bracket and this is a semicolon. Okay. Oh, sorry, this one is colon. Okay, double dot. And how to access the data, you also will learn two types, either subscript or linear index. Okay, so don't need to worry. We will learn how to use this inside the Matlab. So basically, you have to know how to create and access. Okay, and for create, you have two ways, and accessing it, how to get the data back. Okay, so you have to either subscript or linear index. So we move on to the first part, which is creating array. Okay. So make sure you also practice in your computer. Okay, this one is basically programming, so you need to also practice how to do this. So let me clear this first. Okay. So if you don't want to write, you can just right click, clear command window, and right click here to clear workspace. Okay. Okay, we start with the first example. Okay. So X is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to create a vector here. The name of the variable is x, and you have a vector of number from 1 to 4. Okay, when you press enter, you can see here it will create a vector. And you can see here at the workspace, the data shows something like this. Okay, so this is how you create it. X is equals to, don't forget the square bracket. Okay, you will create the data. Okay, so that is the first way to create a data, horizontal one, which is in one row only. Okay, 1 multiplied by 4. And when you create this, it's automatically set as double type of data. Okay, this one no need to worry yet, but automatically when you do the numbering, it will set as double. Okay, how about if you want to create horizontal? Okay, vertical type. Okay, this one is horizontal. Now you want to create a vertical data. So instead of using space, okay, another way is actually you use comma. Okay, either you use space or comma. So you can see here, this will show the same way, either using space or comma. Okay, if you want to make this as horizontal, vertical, okay, instead of using space or comma, you have to use a semicolon. So, for example, z is equals to 1, semicolon 2, semicolon 3, semicolon 4. So you press this, instead of using become horizontal, is become vertical. So let us view in the workspace the z. So you can see here the data is moved to vertical side. Okay, this is called a column vector. Okay, so make sure you know how to create a column and row vector. Okay, so what else next? How to create metric. Okay, you already know how to create a row. Okay, Scala, of course, at the beginning you already learned about the Scala, how to create a Scala. And now how to create a vector. Next, how to create a array or metric. Okay. So for this case, let's clear first. Okay, clear this. Okay, you can see here, you just combine the code. Okay. Okay, you can see here, x is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see here, space means that it is horizontal. Semicolon means that goes to the next row. Okay. So when you do this, you can see that it will move something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one become this one. This one become this one. Basically, semicolons means that next line. Okay. So if you don't prefer write a long code here, you can either choose a second type. For example, this one is equals to open bracket 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so semicolon, then enter. So it will not process it yet. Okay, and you can insert the next one. 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, semicolon, enter, and 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you close the bracket. After that, it will process. Okay, so this is another way to write it. Okay, so you can see here, this is in the form of array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, make sure you understand 3 multiplied by 4. This is the size. The size is basically you have 3 row and 4 column. Okay, so make sure you test this in your Matlab. Okay, practice it. Okay, why I want you to practice? Because in your test or exam, you don't have the computer to write the code. Okay, so basically you have to write the code on the paper and imagine the output by your own. You cannot use computer. So that's why you have to practice, and when you are answering the exam, you have to know this one without using any computer. Okay. Next, like I showed before, you can either use a square bracket. We already learned the square bracket. Now we focus on the colon operation. Okay. So what is colon operation? You can see here, example 5. Okay. So instead of writing one by one, you can just easily use colon. Okay. Colon is basically you can set it automatically. Okay, set the number automatically. So for example here, let me clear this first. Okay, so for example, if you want G is equals to 1 until 5 with a step of 1. Okay, so you can see here, it will create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, this is how to create a sequence number. Okay, evenly spaced. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so how about if you want to create instead of one step? Okay, you can see here the step is 1. Okay, 1 and 2 is only one step. 2, 3, 3 is one step. So if you want to make more than one, okay, or in the negative side, you can see here 1. For example, you want to step 2 until 10. Okay. So for this case, you can see here, this is the starting number. Okay. This is the step. Okay. How much does it added for each number? And this is the end number. Okay. So you can see here. Let me open this one much more clear. So you can see here 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay. So this one, you can see here the step is 2. Okay. If you prefer the step is negative, you just can put this negative. Okay. So means that if I run this, it will be 1, start from 1, and it will minus 2 instead of 2. Okay. So negative 1, negative 3, negative 5, negative 7, and 11. Okay. What if you just place a random number? Okay. You don't know the end. You just place it. Okay. It will stop before it reach this one. Okay. So make sure you know what is the output. If you write something, what is the output? Because in the exam, you cannot check in the Matlab. Okay, so I already show you how to create the how to use the colon operator. Okay, another useful function is line space. So line space is basically means that linear spacing. Okay, so you have a starting value, the end value, and the number of element. So you can see here x is equals to line space 1 until 10. You need to have 3 number. So you can see here, it start with 1, is end with 10, and it should be have 3 number. Okay, you can use it also in negative. Okay, so I give you example how to do this. Okay, let me clear this first. So x is equals to linspace 1 until 10. I need to have 5 number. So it will automatically generate the number. So you can see you start with 1, it end with 10, and you have 5 number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So also work in the negative side. So this one should be negative, the end number. See, it will be decreasing instead of increasing. So make sure you know how to use Linespace. Okay. So make sure you try this Linespace. Okay. So we move on to the next one. Okay. How to create an array from another array. Okay. So you can see here A is equals to 1 and 2. Okay. And you want B is equals to 3, 4, and you want to add A inside here. So you just put something like this. Okay. So basically, you just transfer A inside here, and A will become this one. Okay. So I think this one is easy. No need to test this. Okay. So for this case, this one is just space, right? Space means that it is in the same row. If you want the next one in the next row, okay, you just use semicolon, same as before. Okay, so you can practice here. So let me copy this. So A is equals to 1 and 2. Okay, so B is equal to this one. So I think I don't have to show you. I think this one is a simple one. Okay. Okay. And the next part will be accessing array. So if you recall back this one, okay. Oh, not this. Okay, this one. Okay, we already complete this. You already learned about creating array. Okay, using bracket, square bracket, and column. 2 ways to do this. Now we move on to the accessing array. Okay, so how to access the data you have created or saved. Okay, so this one. So before we continue, I should break for 5 minutes. Okay, we continue at 2:30. Okay, so make sure you slide in your attendance. Okay, we continue with our study. Okay, can you hear me? Somebody respond?
Yes, doctor.
Yes,
Okay,
doctor.
good, good. So we continue with how to access the array. Okay, so I will show you 2 ways to access the array, either using subscript or linear index. Okay. So first, let's try subscript using accessing using subscript. Okay. So for example here, okay, you can see here you have a data. Okay, horizontal data. Okay, A is equals to 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the data view. Okay, and how to access the data? So basically, you just give the coordinate. Okay, that is means by using subscripting. Okay, so this one is the row. Okay, and this one is the column. So you can see here, this is the data. the row 1, okay, which is only 1, and then column number 7, column number 3. So the data is 7. Okay, that's why you get output is 7. Okay, so that is how you use how you call accessing the data using subscript. Okay, so next example you can see here. This is much more complex. You can see here a is equals to 1, 2, and then you have a new line here, semicolon, and 3, 4. So you can see here, this is the result. A is equals to 1, 2, and then new line or new row 3 and 4. Okay. So how to call number 3? So you can see here. Let me clear this first. Okay. You can see here. Number 3 is basically in the row 2. Okay. Row number 2 and column number 1. So you call it B is equals to A. Okay. This because the data is inside A. The row number 2, this is the row, and column number 1. Okay, that is how you call the data. Okay, maybe you can try it in your Matlab. Okay, so I give you example. A is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so I give you example here. So you have a data on variable A. The value is this. Okay, you have a 2 multiplied by 3 array, and you want to call data number, for example, number 50. Okay, you want to call this data, or maybe this data. Okay, this one is much more confused. Okay, so you want this data. So you want to save this inside B. Okay, so B is equals to, okay, let me check the recording first. Okay, so B is equals to A. Okay, you want the data from A, yeah. Open bracket, you have to insert the which row first. Okay, you can see that 60 is in the row 2. Okay, so row number 1, row number 2. Okay, and column number 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, so you get 60. So this is how you access the data inside the variable. Okay, so make sure you test this example. Okay, next is you want to replace the data. Okay, so you can see here before this, you just want to view the data. So this one you just want to view. Okay, you want to view. Okay, but right now, instead of only view, you just want to replace the data. How you want to replace the data? So basically, you just, instead of using B is equals to something and something, you just put this and equals to the value that you want to insert. Okay, so you can see here the data is A equals to 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and you want to replace row number 1. Okay, this is only one row. And column number 2, which is this data, you want to replace it with 0. So after you write this, it will become 0. Okay, same as here. If you have a data in the array configuration, okay, so just write it, the location, the data, the variable name, and then the location, and equals to the value that you want to replace. Okay, so I think this one is simple. I think no need to try this. Okay, maybe if you want to try this, also can. Okay, for example here, I want to replace 30 with 100. Okay, so A, so 13 is in the row 1 and column 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So I want to replace this with 100. Okay, so if I enter this, you can see here the A value has been changed at this location only. Okay, so that is how you replace the data or replace the value. Okay, so okay, so this is the simple one. Now we start using colon operation. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. Okay, when you want to use colon means that you want to take everything. Okay, so for example here you have a data A. Okay, you have semicolon and then any value. So basically you just want all the value, all the row for this column. Okay, for example you have a J is 2. Okay, column number 2 you want to take all the value in the row. Okay, same as here. Okay, you want, for example, this is row number 2. You take all the data for all column. Okay, so for this case, this one is just take everything. Okay, so no need to worry. I will give you example later. Okay, this one is much more harder to understand. Okay, so we start with this one. Okay, you can see here. So A is equals to 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 7, 6, 7. So 2 row of data. And you want to take only first row of data. This is what it means. Okay, so you can see here. Let me open it in Matlab. Let me clear this first. Okay, you can see here A is this one. Okay, so I just want to access the first data. So I want to store it in B. So B is equals to A. Okay, I just want to take the first row. So first row, all the data means that you have to use colon. Okay, this one. Okay, enter. See, B will take this one only. Okay, for example, if you want to take the third row, okay, third column. Okay, so if you want to take the third column, doesn't care about the row, you want to take all the row. So all the row and column number 3. So you see here, it only take this number. Okay, so that is how you use semicolon. Colon. Okay, so this one is finished. Next is you want to take multiple colon. Remember in the previous slide, this 1, 2, 3 means that you take number 2, 3. Okay, so 2, 2, 3. Let me clear this first. Okay, using this one again. Okay, for example, if you want to take 2 column, okay, column number 2 and column number 3. So you just A is doesn't care about the row. Okay. You want to column number 2 until number 3. Okay. So you can see here, it will take this and this. Okay. So that is how to call it. Okay. Or another way is if you don't like to use this one, you can use the square bracket. If it will show the same result. Okay. So recall back the function of 2, 3. Okay. To 3 is basically 2, 3. Okay. 2, 5 is basically 2 until 5 with the step of 1. Okay. Remember how to create a array? Or it's something like that. And this is how you want to call multiple column. Okay. Okay, finish this. Okay, make sure you try this. Okay, now we move on to the next example. Okay, previously we only create an array up to the matrix size, which is 2D. To create a higher than 2D, we have to create a matrix using subscript method. Okay, this one should be not in your syllabus. Okay, it's okay. We learn about this. Okay. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, then new row 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So it will create this. Okay, so you can see here A, you want to update A1, colon. Okay, maybe I should insert this inside the Matlab. Okay. So this is A. Okay, this is standard. Okay, but this one is much more difficult. You can see here. Okay. Okay, so you can see here, this is X, Y means row, column, okay, and then this is another dimension number 2, okay. So you have 3 dimension, okay. How to visualize? Okay, there is a figure here. Okay, so before this you have row and column, okay. Now you have row, okay, this is row, this is column, and then you have a data here. Okay, this is first one, this is second one. Okay, so you can see what this means that in the first column, okay, in this first row, you use this one. Okay, in the first dimension, okay, the Z dimension, this is the data, but the second dimension, you set it as all 1. Okay, so I think you can, yeah, it only shows something like this. Okay, the first layer is this one. The second layer all 1 because you equal everything to 1. Okay, that is how you create a multi-dimension array. Okay, let me move it first. Okay, so you can see, just update this. Okay, if you prefer so if you want to see second level, you can see here only 1. Okay, and if you want to see the first level, okay, this one. Okay, this one is always safe in the first level. Okay, try to understand it because when it comes to 3 level, it is much more difficult to understand. Okay, let me clear this first. Okay, this is how to create a higher dimension. Okay, so now we move on to the next way to access the data. Okay, if you recall back this one, okay, you have subscript on linear index. Okay, we already finished how to use subscript to access the data. Now we move on to the linear index to access the data. So if you want to access the data, you don't like the way the coordinate works, okay, 1, 2, 2 to 1, and so on, okay, you have to insert the row and column. You also can use a linear index, okay. So basically, instead of using this coordinate, you only use this. Okay, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically you fill out the row first. After the row is ended, you go to the next column. Okay, so row 1, 2, 3, and then next column 4, 5, 6, next column 7, 8, 9. Okay, you can see here how to call the data. For example, A1, we call this data. A6, this data. Okay, so if you use this one, A bracket, okay, 1 and 2 means that you want to access data number 1 and data number 2. So it will take data number 1 and data number 2. Okay. So where is it? Okay, this one. So I already explained before. Basically, you have to see the index in the row first, finish the row first, and then go to the next column. Okay, so this is an example. So you have the data here, vector, okay, raw vector. So if you just write ATR3 means that you just look at data number 3. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So it will access this data. Okay, I think this one is simple, no need to worry. Okay, this one is much more complicated because you have a array. Okay, 2 multiplied by 2 array. And what is the meaning of location number 2? So basically, remember, this is 1, this is 2. Complete the row first and then next column. Okay, so it will take this value. Okay, I think this one also no need to explain further because it is quite simple. Okay, the same thing, how to replace. This one is just example how to access the data. And if you want to replace the data, same here. But instead of using coordinate, okay, you use this one. Okay. So for example, you want to replace vector index number 2, okay, which is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You want to replace it with 0. So after you do this, you will get this one. This one will change. Okay. Same here. You want to replace vector number 3. Okay. Location number 3. So location number 3, remember 1, 2, 3. So you want to replace location number 3 equals to 0. So you can see here A is updated to become 0. Okay. So make sure you try this. Try to understand this. Okay, let me show you this. Or just I write this. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, you have a data something like this. Okay, if you want to access, for example, 70. Okay, how if you want to access this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So A6. Okay, so you can access this data. And if you want to replace this, just equals to 0. Not 0, for example, 700. Okay, so you can see here it will update the data. Okay, they update the value. So this one is complete. Next. Okay. Okay, this one taking multiple value. Of course, you have to use the colon. Okay. So for this case, okay, you have a data here. You want to take 1, 2, 3. Okay. So how to do this? You use this one. Instead of only 1, you have to use 1 dot and 3. Okay. So this one I think is quite simple also. So this one same case, if you take something like this, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it will take this one, and this one. And instead of 2 multiplied by 2 array, it will become a long. Okay, it become a vector. Okay, so you can see here the output will become a row vector. Okay, so let me show you example. So A is equal this one. Okay, so I want the number 20 until 700. Okay, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 until 6. Okay, so it will create an array. Okay, sorry, create a vector. So it will become something like this, a row vector. Okay, now we complete example 6. Okay, how to convert vector into column. Okay, you have a vector here, 3 multiplied by 3. How to convert this into a column? Okay, something like this and this and this. So basically, you just use colon. Okay, this is the simple way to do this. So let me clear this first. So you can see A is this one. I want to change a vector in change the array into a vector. So we just A dot. Okay, so it will become this one. Okay, so 10, 50. Okay, this one. Okay, something wrong here. It should be horizontal, not vertical. Okay. It's okay. Just continue, I think. Okay. It should be horizontal. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Just goes next, maybe. Okay, now linear indexing vector index. Okay. So if you want to take multiple value, but instead of just a continuous value, you can just also take multiple point. Okay. So I just use the slide. So you can see here, this is the number you created and you want to access 1, 3, 4, 9. So this is number 1, this is number 3, this is number 4, and number 9 is this one. Okay. So you just write this inside the square bracket. Okay. You put here and it will, you just put A and okay. So that is how you want to call multiple point. Okay. So let me show you example here. So A, this one. So I want to call 1346. 13 1, 6 and 8. So this is an example here. I want to save it in B. So A square bracket. I want the data 1 and 3 and 6 and 8. Okay. So basically, I just want this for data, this data, this data, and this data. So it will become like this. Okay. So this data, this data, this data, and this data. So make sure you know how to access the data using the vector index. Okay, I think this one. Wait. Okay, this is access and this is replace. Almost the same. Okay, but instead of b equals to an is just an is equals to 0. Okay, so basically you can see here you have the data here. This is the a. Okay, and you have a n is equals to 3 until 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically the data that is involved is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and you want to replace the an. Okay, this the data is a, and the index is 3 until 6, this one, and you want to replace it with 0. So basically all of the tick number become 0. Okay, so make sure you understand how to do this. Okay, move on to example number 10. Okay, so for example number 10, okay, if you want to make this as a array, okay, so you have a large array, okay, and you only want to select several points, but instead of a row, okay, you don't want row, okay, before this, all the output will become in the row. You don't want that, so you can adjust it in the index. Okay, so you can see here it want to take data number 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 in the first row. So you want to see, you can see here. So 1 and 2. This is 1 and 2, and 5 and 7. This is 5 and 7. And you can see here the data is 1, 2, 5, 7. Okay. Sorry, this one should be 7 or 8. Okay, this one should be changed. Okay. So this one is 8. And if you run this, okay, instead of a long row, okay, it will be follow this one. Okay. So maybe I should do this. Okay, so you can see here, this is the data. Okay, and you put the indexing. Okay, you can see here the index is in the form of array. Okay, instead of vector. Okay, so the output will be shown in the form of array also. It will follow this location. Okay, so 1 is this one, 3 is this one, and then 4 is from here, number 5, and 3 is from this. Okay, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So make sure you practice this. Okay, we move on to the next part, which is data type. So let us break. I have a break for 5 minutes. Okay, we will continue for the next part. Okay, we continue with the next part. Before I proceed, someone respond to me whether you can hear me or not.
Can, Doctor.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. So I just want to remind you before I proceed. Don't forget your test. So you have test on 21, if not mistaken, 21 April, right? Make sure you save the date. Yeah, let me check first. Okay, the internet is not responding too well. Okay, so make sure you check the date. Okay, and make sure you save it to your calendar, and don't clash with another test. Okay. So we continue with the next part. Okay, data type. Okay, remember that you see the double. Okay, so you can see here double, right? So this one is something like a data type. Okay, so no need to worry first. This one is much more towards theory. Okay, no need to much understand. Okay, so numerical class data type includes signed and unsigned integer, single and double precision, floating point number, and complex number. So I remember that I said you have integer, okay, either integer is signed or unsigned, single or double precision. This one is the floating point. Single is less precise, but it is much more quicker because much more smaller size. Okay, double is much more precision, and you also have a complex number. Okay, and as I mentioned before, Matlab always store the number in the double precision floating point. So basically double. So this one. So it will save as double. So this is just a data type. Okay, by default it is double. Okay, this one is already this. Okay, another type is also you can use a integer 8. Okay, integer 8 means that, okay, it is just a 8-bit integer. Okay, usually we don't care about this because usually you just use double. But if you are doing a hardware where you want to make sure that your code is very efficient and fast, so this one can be, you have to tinker with this. Okay, so integer 8 basically it is much more like number, okay, or like data. Okay, so this is another way. Okay, so another data type is a complex number. I think most of you know what is complex number, right? Okay, 1 plus 3i. This is just an example. Okay, so I think in engineering you always use this. So let me clear this first. Okay, for example, you have 2 or 3, 3 plus 4i. Okay, this is a complex number. So you can see here 3 plus 4i. Okay. Or you want to make a is equals to 3 plus 4i, and then b is equals to 4 minus 2i. Okay, this is just example. Okay, and then a divided by b, you can get the answer. So basically this is easier. Okay, if you have a very complicated complex number, you can use Matlab to solve it, and you can use you can use this code. Okay, so you want to, of course, you have absolute number, imaginary, conjugate, real. Okay, so if you want to extract this, okay, real number means that if I'm not mistaken, this one, right? Okay, you just use this code. Okay, imaginary, this one, absolute number, conjugate. Okay, you want to use conjugate angle, absolute, this one, you can use this. So I just give you some example. This one usually we don't care too much. Okay, but make sure you know. Okay, so A, you can see here 3 plus 4i. So if you want to know the real number for A, you just write real. IMAG for A is 4. So real, imaginary. Okay, if you want to conjugate CONJA, so you can see here conjugate is just changing the sign for the imaginary part. Okay, what else? The code and absolute. So absolute is basically you change this to the another, what it's called, forget already. So if you do this, you get the magnitude and angle. Change this. So for the magnitude ABS, A is 5. Okay. So 3 squared plus 4 squared, you get 5. Okay. And another one is angle. Okay. So you have angle, right? So when you do this, the Cartesian plane, if not mistaken. So ANGLE. Okay. Okay, you get the angle. And make sure you know this angle is in radian. Okay. So make sure when you do this, you divide by pi, I think. Pi. Okay. Divide by multiply by 180. So you get the angle in degree. Okay. So that is how you use complex number in Matlab. Okay, another one is a string. Okay, string is basically word instead of number. So if you want to save word, okay, so you use this one. Okay, so I give you example. Let me clear this first. So A is equals to, you have to have an open bracket here. Okay, so it will save the data as character or string. Okay, you can see here this time, instead of double, it will be this one. Okay, this is string. Okay, make sure you know this type of data. Okay, this one. Okay, string size. Okay, of course, instead of saving this one into one number, is actually size based on the character. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it has 12 data size. Okay. So the size of the byte, this is the class. Okay, this is the type. So make sure you recall back what is whose. Okay, it's basically the properties of the data. Okay, what else? Okay, to create a two-dimensional character array, make sure the number of each element row are the same. So you can see here. Okay, you can see here, this is only one data. Okay. So if you want to make this an array, okay, make sure that the character has the same length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So A2 equals to okay, make sure the length is the same. Okay, this one is not the same. 7, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so basically make sure that the name is okay to avoid error. Okay. Use this one. Okay. Let me. Okay. So you can see here. Okay, this one. So you cannot do this something like this. You have to make it long like this. Okay, when this happens, you just rewrite everything. Yeah. Okay, for this case, it's actually error caused by this sign. Okay, you just replace this. Okay, replace this with the correct sign. Okay, still cannot. Okay. Okay, if you have this problem, okay, just clear this. Okay, clear this. Okay, instead of using common window, okay, you use a new script. Okay, common window, you write the coding continuously. Okay, but in script you can save it. Okay, so let me create a new script. Okay, new script, and you can write at the top CLEAR. CLC means that you clear everything up before you run the program. Okay, and you can save it. Okay, so basically the difference between common window and script is that the script is you can save the script. This one will gone after you switch off or clear it. Okay, but this one you can save it. So I think for this one it's easier. Okay, if you use the script. Okay, so the error is here. Okay, so you just replace this back. Okay. Okay. So you run this. So you can see here the character has been saved. Okay. So what it means by make sure the number of elements for each row is the same. Okay. Means that okay, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you have 6 characters. So for this one, the longest, you can see here, this is 6 and this is 5. So if the character is 5, you have to make sure that it becomes 6 by adding a space. Okay, so this is quite important when you write a code with character. Okay, all the character needs to be in the same length. Okay. Okay, I think that one is important. Make sure you know. Okay. So, or we can use the character to automatically pad the string with the spaces. Okay. So if you don't want, what is it? Okay. If you, it's quite hard to do this because you have to be careful with the spacing. Okay. If you don't want to do this, you just put character. Okay. So this is the coding. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, of course, this one you have to replace to avoid error. Okay, make sure it turns to blue. Okay. Okay, the advantage of using script is that you can see the error. Okay, the Q1, for example, this is Q2. Okay, so you can see here. Let me make this larger. So you can see here Q1 is using spaces. You have to manually add the space. But if you use this one, the char, okay, so you can direct, it will automatically adjust your character. Okay, so I suggest it's better for you to use character. Okay, I think this one is important also because you have to do coding. Some coding are required name. Okay, instead of number, you have to use multi character also. Okay, another one is logical. Okay, remember, true or false. Okay, so basically true is 1, false is 0. Okay, I think most of you already learned about the logic, right? Okay, so okay, next week, this one is for operation. Okay, this one will be a little bit tricky, but no need to worry, I will show you how. So you can see here how to convert this data. This is double. Okay, remember, this one is double. Okay, let me this one, delete this. So you can see this is just a double data. Okay, if you have something like this, you want to see the code. Okay, you can see when I run this, it doesn't show anything. You will just delete the semicolon at the end. Now it will show the data. Okay. So that is how to view the data in the command window. If you don't want to view this, you just put a semicolon. So you can see it is process the data. This is created, but it doesn't show. Okay. So maybe this one is show. Okay. And I want to convert this into a logic. Okay. So B is equals to logical A. Okay. Why is doesn't come out? Oh, sorry. This one is in the script. So for script, you have to run it at the top. Okay. Okay. For logical, you can see here, anything that is 0 will equals to 0. Okay. Anything else negative or positive will become 1. That is logic. Okay. If you use the logical data, anything at 0 will become 0. Anything else will become 1. So that is also important thing that you need to know. Okay. So 1, 0, true and false only. So next is logical array can be used as index also. Okay, you can see here you have a data here. Let me make it larger. Okay, you have a data A. Okay, this is the data. Okay, and let me. Okay, this is the data, and I just want to take several points. Okay, so I just want to take some of the data. For example, here, I just want to take data number 4, 1, this one, and this one. So I just put 1 for the data I just want to take, and insert this inside the A index in B. You will get this data. Okay, true and false. Okay, make sure you understand how to use this because in exams, this is quite a popular equation. So you have a row of data, you can see here. Let me minimize this, clear first. Okay, you have this data and you only want to index this value. Okay. Okay, make sure don't forget about the logical. Okay, so this data is in the form of logical. This one is double. Okay. So basically, anything that is 1, you want to take it. Anything that is 0, you don't want to take it. So after that, you just write this one. So basically, it just take the one number. Okay. 1, 2, 6, 9. Okay. So this is quite a popular question. So basically, it will give A, it will give B. You have to predict what is A, B. Okay. Without using computer. So make sure you know how to do this. Okay. Okay. Another one is what is the time? Oh, 3:30. Okay, so just a little bit more. Logical array indexing. Okay, so of course you have a data here, the same as before. Okay. So if you want to obtain this data, you can see here 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So you don't want this, you want this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So basically it will take data number number 1, don't take data number 1. So 0. Number 2 take. Number 3 don't take. Number 4 take. Okay, take. This one don't take, and this one you take it. So basically you just copy this one, and this one. So 4 to 8. Okay. So this one is what it calls a linear index. Okay, recall back what is linear index. Okay. So make sure you understand how to do both of these. Okay. So these two question is quite popular. Okay. Try to understand this. How did it work? Okay. Maybe you can try adjusting anything and try to predict it. Okay. It's how much? Oh. Yeah. Okay, maybe we will continue the data conversion in our next class on Thursday, on Wednesday, right? Is it correct? Hello?
Yes, ada.
Okay. So I just want to ask, for Wednesday, for session 1 is 11 to 12. Session 2 is 12 to 1, right? So can you, for session 2, can you move to section 1 also? Are you free for Wednesday 11 to 12 for session 2?
Yes.
Anyone? Oh, you're free, eh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, most of you are free, eh? Okay, can we move for section 2, can you move 12 to 1, go to 11 to 12? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
if no
okay.
problem, we meet again at 11 a.m. Okay. So see you again next next class. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Doctor.
you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doctor.